find ourselves. In 2022, a man by the name of Aaron Wren, he wrote an article. He wrote an article on the three worlds of evangelicalism, the three worlds of evangelicalism. And he would say that in everything up to about 1994 was known as the positive world, like how people viewed Christians, how people viewed evangelical Christians. So it would say that society at large retains a mostly positive view of Christianity. To be known as a good church-going man remains part of being an upstanding citizen. Publicly being a Christian actually is a status enhancer. And then Christian moral norms are the basic moral norms of society, and violating them can actually bring negative consequences. This is also, too, where the church, we start to see the seeker movement rise up. Now, from there, we move into what's known as the neutral world, the neutral worldview, and that's about 1994 to 2014, and this is where society takes a neutral stance towards Christianity. Christianity no longer has privileged status, but it's also not disfavored. Like, you're a Christian, oh, good, okay, good for you, that's it. You know, I'll do my thing, and you do yours. Neither positive nor negative on your social status. Christianity is a valid option within a pluralistic public square. Christian moral norms retain some residual effect, meaning the culture still kind of lives by them. But it's in this time, this is where the church blows it, is the church, we don't talk publicly about the major cultural issues that the Bible has clear stances on because we don't want to turn anyone off to church. We're afraid if we mention that from the stage, then maybe someone in there is going to be struggling with or just going through that, and all of a sudden they're not going to want to come to church, and so we're not going to. So what they would say is that we won't address it from the pulpit or the platform, but we will address it in private. So then what they were doing is they were not discipling and teaching their congregations on what a real biblical worldview was. And they avoided and even downplayed major social issues like abortion, sexual immorality, racial tensions. And in essence, the cultural engagement strategy of evangelicalism during this time was to take its cues from the culture. And we move into games and gimmicks. See, we want to be like the culture. I want to dress like the culture. I want to make sure that I'm looking like, that's where like all of a sudden you see all these preachers starting to wear leather jackets and and slick their hair a certain way and whatever. But this is, just for context, this is what that produced. So this is the era where Gen Z was mainly formed and discipled. As a result, about 22% of Gen Z claims to be Christian. No, I mean, like that's down from like 40 to whatever it might be, like Gen X and so on and so forth. And some might go, man, that's actually still really good numbers. So 22% would claim to be Christian, but only 2% have a biblical worldview. So of those 22%, 20% would not say that this is what forms their worldview. This doesn't form what we think about certain things. And so now we live in a negative worldview, 2014 and present, where society has come to have a negative view of Christianity. Being known as a Christian is a social negative, but particularly in elite domain parts of society. Christian morality is expressively repudiated and seen as a threat to the public good and now the public moral order. Subscribing to Christian moral views or violating the secular moral order brings negative consequences. This is where biblical truth is now winced at, even in the church, where we will say a biblical truth and people go, ooh, I don't know if I agree with that. That's because you've been discipled by the world. It's because TikTok is your teacher. It's because, I'll stop there. So we have no clear missiological strategy, meaning like how we should be doing church. And the cost of Jesus now goes up. It will cost you to be a Christ follower. It might cost you your job. It might cost you some friendships. It might cost you some relationships. Now, the church, as an institution, is radically behind culture. And there's still, many churches are still operating like it's positive world. And many, I think I'd say the majority of the churches out there are still operating like it's neutral world. But we are in negative world. And I'd say this, while the church as an institution is there, the church as a people, aka Christians, are more like the world. They have come to a place where, like Israel is at here in Malachi, their relationship with God is questionable. So I just wanted us to set up exactly so we understand why the book of Malachi really does relate to us in this time frame.